Welcome to the first episode of this YouTube channel that I'm going to, I guess, do. It came about in an idea of me talking to my friend, rambling his ear off about random thoughts that I have while I am working, which, if you could not tell, I am a mailman in the United States. And that's pretty much all you're going to know about me, because there's not much else that you need to know about my personal life. I am simply a guy who works. He puts paper in boxes and listens to music, listens to podcasts, talks to friends over the phone, and just thinks about things. And if you're like me, when you're working, especially if you work alone, you think a lot. And when you think a lot, you have a lot to say. It's all rambling. It's all nonsense. Incoherence. And when you try and talk to your friends, you sound like a nutcase. Because, this is all, they'll think, this is all you do all day? You just talk to yourself? Yeah, that's part of it. You talk to yourself a lot. And now I'm talking to myself, but recording it so other people can hear it. Don't want everyone to think I'm a nutcase. But, I guess first topic, I'll make it relevant about my job. Sometimes, I'll give you the struggles sometimes, right? Sometimes you'll pull up to a mailbox and you're doing what I'm doing. You're driving in a truck, reaching out the window every couple seconds with a handful of paper and putting it in a box. But sometimes you pull up and there's something blocking the mailbox, a car blocking the mailbox, and you have to get out. And it's so funny how you can do a mile of walking without really batting an eye. You're okay. But the second you're inconvenienced to get out of the truck, the world ends. It's this weird feeling. It's called laziness. It's honestly called laziness. This isn't a preaching thing. This is just when you sit in the truck all day doing this, just reaching in and out, in and out, in and out. It's a very easy job. I do actually recommend it for anybody who's thinking about it. But if you were to be in a truck for, let's say, 5 hours and you have another hour of your day, and then that one moment where you realize, I gotta get out. I gotta get up on my feet and walk these extra centimeters. And it's the thought that you wouldn't have had to do that if that person didn't block the mailbox. And there's some people who aren't directly blocking the mailbox. Their car is just too close for the truck to get close enough to the mailbox. So you do have to just genuinely get out anyway. No fault of theirs. I mean, sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. And that's a pretty inconvenient thing. Again, this is a channel about rambling. Maybe it's ADHD, but I'm not diagnosed. What are we talking about? I'm not diagnosed. Self-diagnosis. But I guess that's the first topic, right? I guess we'll go on to the next topic. Next topic. What's on my mind? Oh, small talk. Let's talk about that since we're talking. Small talk with any customer service job, because I've worked a couple customer service jobs. Small talk sucks, and I bet some people relate, some people don't. Some people genuinely like small talk. But for me, it's like, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to get my job done, and it's like, it's okay, be nice, be friendly. Being friendly is a very important thing in the world. Not many people are. But if you're friendly, then they may want to stop and talk to you. Now that just leads to all kinds of shenanigans. You're sitting there talking, you're like kind of, you're doing that thing where, in my case, I'm like slowly pulling away from them, right? Pulling away from their mailbox while they're standing there, keep talking, trying to keep me still, trying to keep me there in the conversation. They're kind of not really paying attention to the fact that I am trying to all right, yeah, cool, all right. And I bet anyone relates to that. You could be standing there in a hallway. You know what? Serving food. You bring it out to the table, and you're trying to get back into the kitchen, right? And then they try and start talking to you, and you're kind of like slowly backing away, and they just won't stop. That sucks, because it's just, they're not taking the hint. It's like, and most of the time, when you're put in this position, it's not because you're like, oh my God, I can't stand this person, like, please shut up. Like, no, you're not doing that. It's more like you're just trying to get on with your day, you know, and you're not really there to talk to him, and it's nothing against him. You just want to move on, right? You're trying to get back into autopilot. You're trying to keep moving so that way the day goes by a little faster. Or maybe you're just busy. Maybe you genuinely have something to do, and because they're stopping you, you're not gonna be able to get it done, at least at the time you want it. These little things, man, the little things. I don't know what I'm gonna call this channel. I don't even know if I'm going to do it for a while. But I figured, why not, right? You know, I could try and keep everything of where I am good enough mystery to make it vague. Like, you don't know, you're not going to know my name. You're not going to know where I am. And maybe you could figure that out, but, you know, that defeats the purpose. The purpose is, I want to have something for those random people who are in my position, where you work alone all day, and you enjoy that kind of solitariness, you know, the idea of it's your job, it's your life, no one's around you. But you do have a sense of loneliness that you need to kind of quell. Kind of like, you want to talk to people, you want to conversate, you want to have someone to relate to you in your moments and your things. Like, you listen to something and you're like, whoa, you know, like a song, or like something you heard in like a YouTube video that you're like, a documentary that you're like listening to while you work, and you're like, whoa, that's really interesting. And because it's the only thing going on in your mind while you're working, outside of whatever job you're doing, of course, it's something interesting, something that's on the top of your head, and you want to try and tell somebody, but to them, like your friend, let's say your friend who doesn't work the same hours as you, or he, like, you know, is working a job with other people, so he's always around other people. You call him while he's on his day off, he's doing a bunch of things he likes, so he just hears you call him, and you kind of just sound like a nutcase. You know, you're just like, did you hear about this one thing? Like, for example, super hard pivot, but Minecraft. Yes, Minecraft, the video game. There's this subgenre on YouTube of like these stupid Minecraft horror videos, right? Like horror. And the whole premise of them is like supposed to give you, it's like the old versions of Minecraft aren't intentionally, but are very creepy, because it's this sense of isolation, which, hey, relating topic, look at that, segueing kind of. It's this sense of isolation in a place where you feel like there's hints that someone else is there, but not really. You know, like Minecraft has these sounds, these ambient sounds when you're digging in like a cave, that sounds like a minecart or footsteps on the other side of the wall. And you're like, what? It's a single player world. And not only that, this version of Minecraft is like 10 years old. Not many people that I know of are playing it. It's not like anything's actually there, it just gives you that feeling. It's the same thing a horror movie gives you, where it's like, there's suspense, right? There's tension, there's terror. Difference between terror and horror, I found out, uneducated finding out moment. Found out that terror is the anticipation of being scared, and horror is the reaction to something scary. You're feeling horror. That's why it's named horror film, or horror movie, horror game, horror genre. It's the idea of you are reading something actively knowing you're going to be scared. Terror is the one where you are, like I said, it's the anticipation of being scared, kind of. Don't take my word on anything. Uneducated thoughts. But to finish my thought process on the video game, on the Minecraft thing, I was watching a bunch of these videos, these documentaries on videos from the past, where, like videos from like 2011, when the game that wasn't the old version, it was just the version. And the game has that sense of like terror in it, that sense of suspense and a loneliness that you can't really relate to in any other sense. Relate to, that's not the right word. You can't really, you don't understand why. So you want to give it a thing. You want to give it a reason. And they made this thing called Herobrine, who's like the dead brother of the creator. All just fabricated internet stuff, but grew such a big following because people want a reason as to why they feel on edge. But Minecraft doesn't have a reason for that. It's a pretty tame game. It's a game targeted for kids. Everyone can play it. it's a game targeted for kids, and yet it has that sense of creepiness. So I just thought that was interesting, and I would go to my friends and tell them about all these videos I watch and be like explaining why it's so cool to them in more detail than I am here. And they would kind of be like, man, you went down the rabbit hole, huh? Or man, you're losing your mind. And I'm like, you know, that's pretty much it. This is how this channel is going to be. I'm going to have a thought process, and I'm going to record it. And when I record it, I'll upload it pretty much unedited. No intros, no outros, no fanciness. I'm not like that. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy with a phone that can record videos, and I have an AirPod to record my mouth talking. Well, that's it. Catch you guys later.